Hey, it's me, and welcome to Trump Mafia. Now, with the coming Trump presidency, it may be a good chance to reorganize the United States Armed Forces. And I'm specifically talking about the United States Coast Guard. Now, the West Coast and the East Coast are borders of the United States. So you have a branch of the United States Armed Forces patrolling those borders and safeguarding those borders. So they're not going around with little paddle boats. Okay, we're talking about modern ships and they have military-style weapons. Now, it doesn't make sense that the East and West Coast are protected by a branch of the United States Armed Forces, but the land borders with Mexico and Canada are not. Especially when you look to the south, you have drug cartels that have military-style weapons, and you have ISIS fighters infiltrating, even Palestinians pretending to be South Americans. And you have a border patrol, you have ICE, and we're talking about capable people who, if allowed to do their job, can be very effective. But why not just incorporate it into a branch of the United States Armed Forces? I.e., the United States Coast Guard will become the United States Border Guard. So we're talking about the East and West Coast. These are borders as well. And North and South borders. So there would be a section that will continue to be the Coast Guard aspect. And then you will have the other section, which is the land borders. And that would incorporate ICE and Border Patrol. And that way you have a military-style operation to patrol and safeguard the borders. And drug cartels and ISIS will not so much feel like they have a chance. Incorporating the wall also, it will definitely stop illegal immigration and also drug running. So I think it's a no-brainer. It's common sense, basically, because you see sometimes that the Border Patrol is outgunned by drug cartels, and you do see that the north of Mexico is infested with dangerous drug cartels that are beheading people just like ISIS does. And they have machine guns and whatnot, and some may even have rocket launchers. And then you have some Border Patrol guys, and sometimes they don't have a choice. They have to look the other way. And so the United States Armed Forces would remain the same. The only difference would be the United States Coast Guard becomes the United States Border Guard. And so it would also streamline the whole Border Patrol and ICE into one branch of the United States Armed Forces. And as it then becomes part of the Pentagon command center, let's say, it would also help, because if there's any big problem that the regular branch cannot handle, then they can easily call in help from another branch, for example, U.S. Marines, to temporarily beefing up the security. Now, of course, the border with Canada is not a problem so much in terms of massive illegal immigration or ISIS fighters coming in, but it could be in the future, because Canada is very liberal. They're importing millions of migrants, if you want to call them that, from the Middle East. So it's very easy for them just to walk across the border. So there have to be more patrols in the north as well. And I'm looking towards the future, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. It's going to be a problem. And you can tie it into economic policy as well. NAFTA was a terrible mistake, and building the wall, increasing the strength of securing the border on all sides, would also send a message that it's America first. All in all, it's all about sovereignty. Like Mr. Trump says, if you don't have secure borders, you don't have a nation.